So you're playing Wizards and Warriors on the NES, and you've made it to that big-ass skull, or the entire skeleton, or even to the evil wizard Malkil himself. So what's the best way to defeat them? What's the best weapon or item to use? And where do you position yourself in the fight? Let me show you how to defeat these evil creatures in one of Nintendo's best hidden medieval gems, like a boss. Now, the great thing about fighting bosses in Wizards and Warriors is that all of them, except the last boss, are confronted in a similar way. Kuros, the armored knight you will play, will always move from the left, and the boss will appear on the right. So I'm going to show you how you can outmaneuver them. As for the last boss, well, I've got something special in store for him. There are some items I highly recommend grabbing in Wizards and Warriors that will make the boss fights go a lot smoother. The first is the Dagger of Throwing. It's actually hidden away a couple of times in the game, but you can grab it right here in this chest in the very first stage of the game. The dagger returns to you after it has struck its target, or after it has traveled a certain distance. The good thing is you can never lose the dagger. It can only disappear from your inventory after it has been replaced by another weapon. The weapon you can replace the Dagger of Throwing with is the Battle Axe of Agor. This ranged weapon behaves just like the dagger, but it does a bit more damage. Also, if you collect enough of these axe icons throughout the stages after the axe is in your inventory, you can throw 2 axes at once, which comes in incredibly handy at the end of the game. Another item you need to grab are the Boots of Force. These armor-plated boots can be used as weapons against bosses. When you press the select button, Kuros will kick his leg up and plant a boot in the ass of whatever you're fighting. Granted, some of these bosses don't really have asses, but that doesn't matter, because you can still put a boot to them. The great thing about the boots is they stay in another slot in your inventory, so you can have a ranged weapon and the boots at the same time. The Boots of Force can be found in the very first stage of the game, here in this chest, and they are definitely worth getting. One final item you may want to put on your list is the Shield of Protection. You can't use it as a weapon like the boots, but it will offer Kuros extra protection against projectiles that come from the bosses. The shield can be found in this chest here at the top of the tree line in Stage 1, and while it can be a pain in the butt getting up there to access it, it is totally worth it. The first boss you encounter is the giant bouncing skull. He's the guardian of the entrance from the Forest of Elrond to the Ice Cave, and defeating him allows you to save the damsel, Lucinda. The skull wastes no time and quickly bounds at you the second you enter its chamber, and it fires these small red projectiles from its mouth. The skull will angle itself at you as it drops down, and be careful, the skull can bounce as high as you can jump, so it will try to hit you while you're in the air. The best thing to do is to position yourself where the skull lands, and you can kick it with the Boots of Force. At this early point in the game, the boots do a bit more damage than the Dagger of Throwing, and while it's still great to have the dagger, the boots will take out the skull quicker, and with you staying in one spot to kick, it will bait the skull into approaching the same spot, letting you focus on kicking. Remember, while you're pressing the select button to activate your kicks, you can't run or jump, so make sure you've got Kuros in a good spot in the cave, where if you need to reposition yourself, you've got room to do so. At the end of the ice cavern is a long corridor containing an army of bats. As you advance down the corridor, you'll notice the bats grow in size, and at the end of the cave where the door is, there is one massive bat. The largest bat won't swoop down to attack you until all of the other bats in the cave have been destroyed. Now there are 2 ways to eliminate these smaller bats. The slow way is to walk along the corridor and kill each bat one by one as they start to dive down at you. But a quicker way is to run down to the end of the corridor and stop about here, just under the second to last bat. Turn around to the left, press up on the D-pad to activate your potion of levitation, and start throwing your dagger at the oncoming swarm. As the swarm gets eliminated, the larger bats directly over you will come down and you can take care of them as well. When the final bat swoops down, let go of the D-pad, drop to the ground, and start doing what I call the infinity pattern. This pattern allows you to jump and throw your dagger at the bat while it flies around you. Another thing to watch for is when a lot of these bosses are destroyed, a group of small purple spirits will be released. These things swarm at you instantly, and the best remedy for them are a few kicks with the boots of force, or some shots with your dagger or axe. While you're patrolling the ice cavern, this ledge right here will have a chest that contains the Potion of Levitation. It's an item that once found will stay in your inventory for the rest of the game. Use it to kill the bats and rescue the damsel, Esmeralda. At the end of the fire caves is the rock face, an enchanted piece of stone that guards the entrance to the purple caves. The rock face shoots projectiles from its mouth, much like the skull, but these projectiles are a bit larger and travel in a faster and more direct line. Rockface doesn't bounce like the skull. He will start in the air but will get low to the ground and move back and forth, striking you as fast as possible. The Rockface should be handled just like the skull, and putting the boots of force to him is your best bet. Eliminating Rockface will help you rescue Galadriel and get you into the purple caves. At the end of the purple caves lies a purple ghost. This spirit shoots projectiles similar to the ones the skull shot, but the ghost can shoot one from each hand. Each projectile can travel on its own path, so you need to be extra cautious when you jump and move. Your shield can help you out quite a bit, but with multiple projectiles flying around, you still run the risk of getting struck in the helmet or in the legs. I try to use the infinity pattern like I did with the big bat, but sometimes the ghost may not want to cooperate. If you have the battle axe of Agor, it'll help you with your damage, and if you can get the ghost to travel down to you on the ground, give him a few kicks with your boots. Busting the ghost will help you rescue Griselda and get you back to the surface in the Forest of Elrond. At the end of the second Forest of Elrond is a giant spider. This boss will actually leave the screen and try to land on you from above. The great thing about this spider is it fires no projectiles. Its only offensive move is to try to land on you from above or swing into you horizontally. Your best strategy here is to position yourself in the cave where you have some distance between you and the spider. As it descends that way, you can hurl your axe at it. I don't recommend kicking the spider. You need to keep your distance. That way, whenever it leaves the screen, you've already got room to maneuver yourself around and be ready for the next time it drops down. Killing the spider helps you rescue Penelope and puts you on the path to Castle Ironspire. After scaling the outside of Castle Ironspire and making your way down to the bottom of the castle's interior, you'll find a skeleton waiting for you. To me, this is the most difficult boss fight in the game because you will fight this thing multiple times in multiple forms. The skeleton starts off tiny, only a few pixels high. It lobs these equally tiny bones around, and it tries to jump as it does so. When you deplete its health or evil meter, the skeleton will magically grow, and its meter will be replenished. The skeleton will eventually get to the size that is almost twice as big as Kuros, and the bones it flings around have no definitive pattern and can do quite a bit of damage. The way I initially fought the skeleton was just to stick and move. I would stand to the far left side of the cave and duck down, hurling the axe as fast as I could, trying to avoid getting hit by the projectiles. But I found another way to tackle this bony bastard, so let me show you how. As soon as you enter the skeleton's chamber, you need to hurl your axe, and with your back facing to the left of your screen, you need to spam your Potion of Levitation and work Kuros partially off the screen. If you do this right, only the end of your sword and maybe your gauntlet will be visible, and as the skeleton dashes across the screen to you, you can start kicking it. With the skeleton trying so hard to get you, he won't back off or run the other way, and since you're off screen, you won't get nailed with any of his bone projectiles. You can kick him repeatedly and cycle through all of his transformations pretty quick. But be careful, because if you press up and use your Potion of Levitation while off screen, you will be forced back onto the screen, and that will make you susceptible to damage. Knocking out the skeleton lets you rescue Candida, or Candida, and puts you one step closer to Malkil. Underneath the foundations of Castle Ironspire, in a cave shaped like a skull, which is pretty kick-ass by the way, the evil wizard Malkil is hiding. This battle obviously putting you in a much different setting than the caves before, but I'm going to show you where to position yourself to make sure Malkil cannot get the jump on you. Malkil can teleport, and that is his main defense he will use. He's not armor-plated like Kuros and doesn't carry a shield, but he is armed with a powerful staff, and its magic can do some damage. Now, Malkil is susceptible to your axe, and if he teleports close enough to you, you can plant a boot in his ass. Where you want to be though, is right here on this small outcropping. Make sure you are facing to the right, and that this small trench in the rock right here is visible. When Malkil appears inside of it, start throwing your axe. If you've collected enough axe icons and you can hurl 2 of them, you'll get the job done even quicker. The secret is to get Malkil to keep reappearing in this spot, and if you can get in position on the rock with just enough of the trench showing, you'll lure him in every time. Killing Malkil saves the Princess of Elrond and brings peace to the kingdom. So that's how you handle the enemies of Wizards and Warriors like a boss. What are some tips and strategies you have for this hidden gem? I'd love to read about them, and thanks for watching.